Once upon a time, in a bustling town called Kamiko, lived a woman named Mamara. She was renowned throughout the region for her extraordinary beauty and her remarkable skill in the culinary arts. Mamara's hands were delicate yet strong, and her dishes were said to be filled with love, tradition, and a touch of magic. Whenever she prepared food, it was as if the ingredients themselves danced to her tune, creating flavors that delighted. Everyone who tasted her meals, however, despite her many virtues, Mamara carried a secret burden, an ugly sore at the back of her left hand. The sore was persistent, stubborn, and refused to heal, no matter what treatments she tried. It was a deep, raw wound, discolored and unsightly, and it often drew the attention of those around her. Unfortunately, in her community and neighboring villages, people tended to judge others by their appearances. The sore, though harmless in essence, made Mamara appear less attractive and, in the eyes of some, less worthy of opportunity. Because of her wound, Mamara often kept her hand hidden. She wore long sleeves and gloves, especially when she was working or in public, to conceal the sore from prying eyes. Yet, her inner beauty, her kindness, and her exceptional talent remained undeniable to those who truly looked beyond appearances. Still, in a society that valued outward looks and superficial judgments, Mamara's sore became a barrier to her gaining the recognition she deserved. Kamiko was a prosperous town, ruled by a wise and benevolent duke. The duke was known for his fairness, his love for his subjects, and his sense of justice. One day, the duke announced a grand celebration, his daughter's wedding. It was to be a magnificent event, attended by noblemen, dignitaries, and guests from far and wide. The duke wanted everything to be perfect, from the decoration of the palace to the entertainment, music, and most importantly, the food. The duke's chief concern was the quality of the food to be served at the wedding banquet. He knew that the reputation of his court depended on the excellence of his hospitality. To ensure this, he decided to assemble the best cooks from all over the land. The duke sent messengers and scouts far and wide, instructing them to find the most skilled cooks, regardless of their social status or appearances. As the search proceeded, many talented cooks were considered and evaluated. Some were renowned for their spicy dishes, others for their delicate pastries, and yet others for their hearty, filling stews. The duke's messengers visited homes, markets, and kitchens, tasting various foods and observing the cooks' techniques. Despite all this effort, the duke's chief cooks and advisors found themselves in a dilemma. Among the many cooks recommended, one name kept coming up: Mamara. Her reputation as a master chef was well known in her community and nearby villages. Her dishes were delicious, her presentation impeccable, and her passion for cooking evident in every plate she prepared. Yet, the messengers hesitated to recommend her directly because of her sore. They knew she was the best, but they also knew that many in the court might judge her unfairly for her appearance. When the chief messengers reported their findings to the duke, he was taken aback. He had heard of Mamara's skill, but he was also aware of her sore. The duke was a wise man, and he understood that judging someone solely on appearance was unjust. However, he also knew that the reputation of his court and the comfort of his guests could be affected if the guests learned about Mamara's sore. After much deliberation, the duke decided to hold a cooking contest. The purpose was to assess the skills of the cooks in a fair and transparent manner, giving everyone an equal chance to prove their talent. The duke ordered that all contestants be given the same ingredients, tools, and conditions, and that the judging be based solely on the quality, taste, and presentation of their dishes. He also instructed his officials to consider the character and dedication of the cooks, not just their outward appearance. Marmara was encouraged to participate, but her secret soul remained hidden from the public eye. Those who knew her well, however, believed she was the best among them. On the day of the contest, cooks from all over the region gathered at the Duke's palace. The atmosphere was tense, yet filled with anticipation. The aroma of spices, fresh herbs, and baked bread wafted through the grand hall. Marmara arrived quietly, dressed modestly, with her hands carefully concealed beneath her apron. She knew she had to focus, not on her saw, but on her craft. The judges sampled each dish, praising, some criticizing others, but when they tasted Marmara's creations, their eyes lit up with delight. Her food was exquisite, by a harmony of flavor, skill, and love. Marmara's attention to detail and her mastery of culinary techniques shone through in her presentation and taste. When the contest ended, the judges declared Marmara the winner. Her dishes had outperformed those of the other contestants in every category. The Duke was pleased and announced Marmara as the chief cook for his daughter's wedding feast, despite some objections from other chiefs who favored their own candidates. The Duke's decision stood firm. The news of Marmara's victory spread quickly. The Duke, being a wise and considerate ruler, understood that Marmara's sore might cause discomfort or embarrassment if it were exposed publicly. To protect her dignity and to ensure her focus remained on her work, the Duke decided to take an extraordinary step. He summoned a master craftsman, a renowned designer known for his skill in creating beautiful and functional objects. The Duke tasked him with designing a special prize, something that would be worn on the back of Marmara's left hand to cover her sore. The goal was not merely to hide the wound, but to do so with elegance and grace, turning what might be perceived as a flaw into a symbol of beauty. The designer worked tirelessly, creating a stunning ornamental, intricate, shimmering band of gold and jewels that fit perfectly over Marmara's hand. When it was ready, the Duke presented it to Marmara publicly, and she accepted it humbly. She carefully placed the prize on her hand, covering the sore completely. Only the beautiful ornament was visible, and it sparkled under the light, captivating everyone present. The crowd erupted into applause, marveling at the craftsmanship and the elegance of the prize. Marmara's humility and grace touched the hearts of everyone present. The Duke made a heartfelt plea to the people, asking them to keep Marmara's secret and to judge her only by her talent and character, not by her appearance. On the day of the wedding feast, Marmara prepared food with dedication and love. Her dishes pleased the Duke and his guests immensely. The food was delicious, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and celebration. Marmara's talent shone brightly, and her humility and kindness only added to her charm. Throughout the festivities, many guests approached Marmara, praising her skills and thanking her for the wonderful meal. Some of them, moved by her story, learned about her sore and admired her resilience and humility. They realized that true beauty lies within an inner glow that can't be hidden by outward appearances. As the days passed, Marmara's reputation grew. She was invited to cook at various events and gatherings across the land. The story of her victory and her grace in covering her sore became a symbol of inner strength, wisdom, and humility for all. Marmara's life story became a cherished legend in Kamiko and beyond. It was told over generations as an example of humility, resilience, and the importance of inner beauty. Her story inspired many to look beyond appearances, to judge people by their character and talents, and to treat everyone with kindness and respect. In her later years, Mamara continued to cook with passion, her sore never bothering her as much as before. She became a symbol of hope and perseverance for many. Her life proved that even with imperfections, one can achieve greatness and earn admiration through humility, talent, and inner strength. And so, the story of Mamara, the beautiful cook with a resilient spirit, lives on in the hearts of those who believe that true beauty radiates from within. Her legacy teaches us that everyone deserves respect and understanding, and that sometimes it is the imperfections that make us uniquely beautiful.